Okay. There we go. Nothing. It's not a true demo or whatever till there's a glitch. That worried me for a second. Apparently, maybe there's some gremlins in the Restream data center.
Could
So if
be.
you're still,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I was going to say, I love the intro, the fancy graphics. Frank is a master at that stuff, in case y'all don't know that already. And that reminds me, that music that you picked reminds me of Peter Gunn.
I was thinking it has a bit of that kind of 60s James Bond vibe.
James Bond, right? Yeah, he did a lot of the James Bond.
Yeah, as you can tell, I've been working on my motion graphics mojo for our secret project that we have affectionately called Project Ringgate. If you don't know who we are, I want to say welcome to the viewers on Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Periscope. Thanks for joining.
Wow.
I am Frank Lavinia, and this is my co-host on Data Driven, Andy Leonard. I
was going to say, and I am not. I was going to channel my inner Chevy Chase there.
Just wanted to do a quick live stream. Andy and I just finished recording an excellent podcast recording with someone who's been in the artificial intelligence space for 20 plus years. Awesome guy. Really great conversation. I can't wait to launch that on Friday. The new show.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, that was one of our better ones for sure. So this is funny. I'm going to see if I can share my screen real quick because I do have a meeting.
Just a few minutes. I'm watching the clock for you.
I'm trying to do that minimum of LinkedIn 15 minutes. I actually streamed my shortest LinkedIn live stream yesterday. It was the the kids were tobogganing or sledding down a slide, down like a hill. We actually drove over to a friend's house and they have this really epic, like, I don't want to say 45-degree angle hill, but it was like a good, like 20 angle hill. It was 20-degree angle. And as I started streaming, one of the kids started screaming, and his gloves were completely like iced over, and like I saw his hands and they looked like, yeah, it's time to go. So I said goodbye, everyone. So sorry about the short stream. It was the first time I did it kind of like live in the field like that, not in the car or in some other controlled environment. So
yeah,
it was an experiment.
Yet another experiment. So yeah, I know. Like I said, I'm watching the clock for you here, but yes, we recorded the show that was it was awesome. I keep saying that though about all of them because they're all awesome.
Well, kind of like your kids, you love them all.
That's true.
I mean, some shows are better than others. What I just showed on the screen, this is surreal. There must be a good story behind this. Is if you look here, I looked at our analytics today because I'm like that. I do that. And this is our top downloaded show today by like a ridiculous margin.
Crazy.
And this was recorded back in 2017, our first year of the show.
Yeah.
So, way before Bailey, way before. So Elon must be in the news. So
yeah,
definitely these podcasts have a long tail, as the cool kids would say.
We've said that, and it's been very interesting to see how people have found us.
Right.
Like last year and then sent us messages like, how long have you been doing this?
Right. Well, the coolest thing for me is always when people come up to me and be like, I listened to your show, or my personal favorite, and this happens a lot inside the hallowed halls of Microsoft. I'm going to make Andy blush. They're like, Andy Leonard? It's pretty funny. Goodness. It's awesome. It's just like, yeah.
Well, you and I get that. We know how goofy that is because we both know me.
Right. And well, and it's just funny. It's just fun. It's like, Andy Leonard? Like,
I get people coming, back when we traveled, which that's been, it's been a year this month, the last time I traveled. and people would come up and say the same thing about the podcast. They'd say, you and Frank are, put on a good show. And yeah, it's similar. I think that, people are listening to the podcast, and we're coming up on another milestone, I think, soon.
Yeah.
On download.
If you're okay with sharing the stats.
I'm fine. Yeah, sure. Bring it up.
Share the stats. Radical transparency. Is that what the cool kids call it?
That's it. Let's do it.
I am not sharing the right window. Let's see. Monday,
it's live.
It's live.
It's live. What do you expect?
So, I was like, wow, this is, we're just about to hit the 170,000, download milestone. Yeah. I mean, we're not Joe Rogan, but you know what? Not everyone can be.
True. And it's, it's a lot of shows, and a lot of people have.
How many shows are there?
That's a good question.
269.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So, a lot of shows out there, some more popular than others. It's amazing to see some of these spikes that we get. Sometimes depends on the guests, I think.
This one. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
So what's cool is with Captivate, which is our hosting provider, if you want to know more about them, shoot me a DM or ping me on wherever social media you want. I'm on Twitter at Frank Diggs Data. Andy's there.
Speaking of data,
we can get you. Speaking of data, we really are data driven at Data Driven. No joke. Oh, I don't have my soundboard on this program.
Oh, darn.
I really got to start switching, and instead of using the browser based one, using the OBS, because OBS you could do all sorts of crazy stuff. But I mean, if you look, kind of, whenever we post, there's definitely a spike.
Yeah.
And today, when I saw this curve, I saw a spike.
And we're like, who posted?
Oh, I didn't post.
I posted, but I don't think that's the spike.
No, I meant
that's another show.
I meant upload an episode.
Oh, okay.
That's the correlation. So I'll span it out. That's 90 days, and you'll see like there's always, show goes out, and then there's a spike, and then the show goes out. Of course, the first example is a complete disregard of that, but is what it is. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is going on? We didn't post anything. So then what's cool about this is that they'll show you a whole bunch of other metrics, but if you go to today's trending episodes, it's this one, which was published way back in 2017. And I'm like, not that I'm complaining.
No, we're not. It's over 3 years old.
It's cool, actually. So a lot of established podcasters have told me that this happens quite a bit, or this will happen. And I guess, is this a milestone? Are we now established podcast?
Are we like the cool kids?
I don't know. I mean, I guess after 269 episodes, I guess we sort of are.
Well, and coming up on 4 years, we actually recorded the first episode this month, 4 years ago. Yeah,
that's right.
We didn't release it until
May.
Memorial Day weekend or something.
Memorial
it was
Day
the
weekend.
End of May. Yeah, but we did, and gosh, what a cool road it's been.
It has been awesome.
Far. Yeah,
it has been awesome. So,
and I can't wait for the super secret Project Ringgate to get released, because that's just. I can't say too much about it, but it makes me all giggly inside.
It is pretty epic. It is pretty epic. We just have to. We've built the balloon now. Now we have to fill it up. But that's all I'll say. But
we've been working on this for months, by the way. People don't know.
Yeah. This was kind of in something that came across my desk. What, November? Early November? Late October?
Maybe somewhere October, November. Yeah.
And I was like, you and I were going back and forth in this. What do you make of this idea? What do you think about this? And so ultimately we decided to go all in, and I was talking to somebody. I was like, we have no idea what we're doing. We're just going ahead, and it's going to be messy. But you know what? Messy action beats perfect inaction.
Yeah.
And that kind of the title of the stream, I had to look it up, but the title of the stream is basically, it's a new month, it's a new week, and it's the year still kind of new. Are you still maxing out?
There you go.
But that's a great podcast.
So Ed Mylett. Check out Ed Mylett. Mylett. I apologize for being blurry. I think I'm trying to. I guess when I drank water, it focused on that. So I'm not getting that close to the TV camera, and it's a kid TV, the camera, and you're welcome for that. Ed Mylett, great show, and another of our inspirations, Grant Cardone's another one. We listen to Grant, Uncle G,
who's on Undercover Billionaire. I'm a few weeks behind on the show.
That the last one I saw was the one they came out and said they were shutting it down because of COVID.
Right, but I know
they filmed it about a year ago.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually shut down.
Okay, I haven't caught up yet, so I'll have to go.
Yeah, I have to
go check again.
I have to binge watch. I was talking with somebody this week, and it was they were kind of like, I guess you don't watch anything on Netflix, because they were looking at all the classes I take online and and stuff. And I was like, no, I really don't. And it's not because like I'm not one of those hipsters that says, well, I don't know the TV. Like that. I mean, it's not it. It's just like, for me, my personal, I'll share a personal story, right? So I was really into Game of Thrones for a while.
Okay.
And then like season 5 happened. And then season 7, the final season was just like an insult. And sorry if you hate me for that, but I was just like, and that was, timing about when I, the whole Windows Phone world ended, and the whole XAML world kind of fell apart. And I was like, if I had spent the time I put into Game of Thrones into keeping up on what's the date, that's what I should have done. So, ever since then, I mean, obviously there's shows I like. There's The Expanse. There's a couple of Expanse references in the next show, and also Project Ringgate itself is a reference to The Expanse, as well as kind of the whole, well, I don't know if I'll ever share the whole analogy of why we call it Project Ringgate, but there's a whole reason for that,
There definitely is. I never watched Game of Thrones, not because I'm like super cool and smarter than Frank or anything. I watched other things.
Right.
But I, like Frank, if you were to look at, I would imagine this is true. If you were to take a look at how much television we watch, whether it's binge TV, Prime or what have you, Netflix, it's probably a fraction of what I would say normal people watch.
Right.
I saw a stat the other day. People spend 7 hours a day on average on social media and on their phones. And I was like, that's not me.
Well, it's funny. There's the book. I did a book review live. It was by Marie Forleo. It's called Everything's Figure Outable.
Yep.
And pretty early in the book, she's like, you know what? Why don't you download this app? I think iTunes has a built-in feature that does this, but there's it's called Stay Free for Android, and just use your phone just like normal and see how much time you spend on it.
Yeah.
I was, I think 6 hours, 7 hours was not unheard of.
Wow, Frank.
And so I was like, oh, wow. It was like a real looking. So I started reducing it. Now it's down to about, less than half that. And I uninstalled certain apps off the phone because it's a time suck.
Sure.
It's not just a time suck. It's a energy vampire.
Yeah. You're not getting anything back from that.
No, I'm just feeding them data. And it's just kind of like, so I'm more conscious. I'm sure there's plenty more I can improve, but I'm more conscious of how I spend time. And actually, I don't, I won a max out thing because I was participating on social media for Ed Mylett. It's the hoodie, not this hoodie, but I did win that because he has this contest every day when he posts and stuff like that. So
I can't remember what it was I was reading, but they were talking about how when you're engaging on social media that you're paying for that, and you're paying with your attention. I think it was the book Live Not by Lies.
Maybe, yeah.
Talking about that concept.
If you're not, sorry,
no, it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying with time, right? And like, there's another book I'm reading now, which I'll do a review on. But it was like, your life is essentially, time is the currency of your life. That's kind of how he puts it. That's a
great way to think about it. Yeah.
And like, I was like, oh, he's right. And the way he phrases time, there's a lot more to the context and whatever. Sure. But I'm like, whoa.
Ed's show that he did, about a week ago? Same deal.
Yes.
20 minutes. It's probably not even a week. I think it was the end of, I think it was like the 28th of January.
It was Saturday or Sunday. I think I shared it with you.
And
And I'm like,
he
"You gotta
he
hear
talks
this."
about that, right?
Right. Right.
And it just, phew, gosh, he's
It's
right.
pretty powerful. And it's just like, because when people hear time management, they're like, ugh. 'Cause trust me, I hear
Right.
time management. I'm like, ugh.
I
But if
did
you
something. Go ahead.
no, so if you don't manage your time, and if time is kind of the base currency of life,
Yep.
makes sense, right? How do you measure when somebody dies? Oh, they were 90 years old, they were 70 years old. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense that way. It's one of those things
Absolutely.
that's so obvious until you think about it.
Yep. So I did a data minute today. I actually put into practice what Ed talked about in that 28th or so practice. And one of the things he said was he talked about multiplying time
Right.
and, doing things that you and I do already. We do goals
Right.
and stuff like that. But he talked about really shrinking the window when you evaluate it. And I got my timer here. It's turned off because we were doing a show and it was going to go off in the middle of the show. So,
It's funny.
but it's,
You have an actual physical timer. I was in my head
yeah.
trying to think about how can I get Cortana or Alexa to do that for me.
Google will do it. There's, I think,
Really?
timer.google.com or something like that works for it. And I just did 60 minutes.
That's a good idea.
And it beeps just like my timer does. And what I found was it was fascinating to me. What Ed said was accurate. That didn't surprise me a bit, but I was surprised at how my goals went for the day. And Ed talks about doing 6 days of work in 6 hours.
Right.
That's what he talks about. And I was like, I thought I got to try this just to see. And it helped me a great deal. I don't know that I got 6 days done, but I got a number of things that I wrote down and checked off. And it was probably close to 5 or 6 days worth of work today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What I like about his show is that it's actionable stuff. It's not just fluff. Here, and this is not a commercial for him. We don't get any money for him. I think his message is awesome.
Yes. Yeah, it's great material.
Brian, this was very powerful. Brian Dawkins' story. I don't want to spoil it, but
yeah,
I
haven't listened to that yet, so don't
I don't follow football, so I had no idea who he was. But apparently he was a big deal. And for those of us across the pond or not in the U.S., football is American football.
American football, not
soccer.
Not what we call soccer. Yes.
This was a great one, too. I highly recommend listening to this one.
Separation Season. Okay.
I know you listened to that one because I sent it to you when we talked about it. That's the one. I don't want to steal its thunder, but it was good. I mean, all of these are really good. I'm trying to find one that was really good. The one where he did with Frank Caliendo was hilarious because Frank Caliendo's a comedian and he kind of does this whole parody of Ed Milet, which is pretty on point, actually.
Wow.
But this is cool too. This is the one, Marie Forleo. She's the author of Everything is Figureoutable and Self-Described Jersey Girl. David Goggins was also, anything he does is like,
I can't remember if I saw that one or not.
I don't know. It's crazy. Jenna Kutcher's.
I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of Goggins stuff there. Listen to that book, You Can't Hurt Me. Can't Hurt Me is the name.
That's really good. This is hilarious. Frank Caliendo.
Okay.
That one was funny because he does a parody. He's like a comedian, so he does impressions. So he does an impression of Ed Milet, and he's
that's funny.
Yeah. And it's 3:49, so I do have to go.
You're over.
Over. All right. You have a great day, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining, Andy.
Thank you.